Hello and global greetings. Welcome to Let's Talk About It with Danelle Boyles. And this is where we get into conversations that are launching pads for life change and inspiration. And this talk task is part of my Rehan AI Teachers Training to example how we can integrate AI as an assistive tool to our everyday usage of learnings, teachings, and development in education and knowledge expansion. I like to call these little eye opener conversations of ours 10-minute talks as we hit key points on important topics, but in compacted conversational format, and that it's easy to digest. A way to stimulate new learning and desire and to expand the thinking. In our 10 minutes today, we are taking a few for some chat and expand time to discuss how to practice self compassion and how to forgive yourself. So, come join me and let's talk about it. I will have Sesame joining me with Miles in this conversation today.
Hey, what's good?
Hey, Miles, what's up?
Not much, just vibing. How's your Thursday treating you? Just
Vibing.
hanging out. You know what I'm saying?
That's just a good way of
Well, I'll,
it. We're
you
vibing.
know, I've been.
Yes.
Catch you later.
No, we're
Wait, you're still here?
I am here, yeah.
My bad. I thought we were doing the whole Irish exit thing. Since you're still hanging, what's on your mind?
Well, I wanted to see if you would join me for a conversation on Let's Talk About It today.
I'm
Got
in.
time for 10
Always down to
minutes?
be a guest. I'm locked in. What's the
Fantastic.
move for today? You
Well,
got a
we
specific?
we're discussing how to practice self compassion and how to forgive yourself.
That's a deep one. I feel like most people are way harder on themselves than they'd ever be with a friend. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? Where do you want to take it first?
Mm, well, I mean, it's one of those things that each person's practice is going to be different, but let's begin with just identifying how do we be more compassionate with ourselves and showing ourselves the same graces that we show to others.
Right on. I think the first step is usually just catching yourself in the act, like noticing that inner voice that's suddenly acting like a drill sergeant and just asking, would
Mhm.
I actually talk to a human being this way?
Right.
Usually the answers are hard no.
Hmm.
It's wild how we have this separate set of rules for ourselves that are just way more brutal. You think that comes from a place of trying to motivate ourselves, or is it more of a habit?
I think it's a combination of different things, and it's actually a subject that gets pretty deep, and it gets into psychology and self worth, self expectations, habits of development. And we're going to try and keep it a little bit light since we only have 10 minutes. But, the fundamentals of self compassion is to, I feel like, recognize where you are developing new habits out of your own observation of self and how you are opposed to how like you were raised, how society tells you you should be, but developing your own sense of self reflection and how you handle your, so I guess, self discipline of. I'm trying to find a good way to put it, but the self discipline of recognizing that you are human and you should be as compassionate with yourself as you are with others.
I get what you're saying. It's like unlearning a script. Spend years hearing how you should be from your parents or the world, and then you have to actually build your own internal compass from scratch.
Right.
That kind of awareness is a skill in itself.
It truly is.
You find that
I'm sorry.
for sure. No worries, you're good.
Yeah.
I was just wondering if you think don't most people actually realize they're running on like that old script, or if they just think that brutal inner voice is just
It's kind of a
who they are.
programming. It's the same with anything else that we practice with ourselves and others that, you have to learn even yourself. And sometimes recognizing that we are running on a script that isn't necessarily ours, but it's one that has been developed and taught over years of, compression and expectation and masking, even.
Masking is a huge part of it.
Mm-hmm.
When you spend all your energy pretending to be the version of yourself that society finds acceptable, it's easy to lose track of who's actually in the driver's seat.
Mm-hmm.
You end up judging yourself based on a performance instead of just being.
Right.
That's a lot of pressure to carry around.
Yeah, it can be.
And the worst part is that the performance never really feels finished, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're always chasing a goalpost that keeps moving. Once you hit one expectation, it's just another one waiting.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think the key to breaking that is just accepting the messy parts of being human, or is it more about actively deciding which parts of that script are actually worth keeping?
I think it's both, and it takes an active observation to realize, like, when it's happening, why it's happening, and how you want to change it.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It's that moment of pause where you actually catch the thought before it spirals.
Mm-hmm. And I
In
guess,
terms of react,
yeah, reactivity, reaction. Excuse me, I had to readjust.
all
Um,
good. Take your time.
and I guess
It's
the
like
part of, forgiving yourself comes from, you know, when you think of forgiving yourself, it is one of those phrases that it sounds silly, It's like, well, what am I forgiving myself for? Like, this is who I am, or this is how I am, But the truth of the matter is, your internal dialogue is truly what drives, like, who you are and how you operate. So if you're incredibly harsh on yourself, you're just continuously forcing yourself to interact in a way that maybe is not truly aligned with, like, who you are, and you're not allowing yourself space to be able to process and recognize and realize that you are human, and you are allowed the space to be able to maybe make mistakes, or um, not always do things the way that everyone has and everything has developed you to, I guess, operate by.
I totally feel that. It's like we've been conditioned to see mistakes as failures instead of just data points.
Right.
If you don't give yourself permission to mess up, you're basically just living in a state of constant tension, just waiting for the other shoe to drop. It
Mm-hmm.
makes it impossible to actually grow because you're too busy policing yourself.
Mm-hmm. So, how do we develop self compassion?
I think it starts with that friend test we touched on earlier.
Mm-hmm.
When you're in the middle of a spiral, just imagine you're talking to someone you actually care about. You probably tell them it's not a big deal or that they're doing their best, right? Forcing yourself to use that same tone internally,
Mm-hmm.
even if it feels fake at first, eventually rewires the habit.
Right.
Maybe it's as simple as replacing, I can't believe I did that with, well, that happened. What's the move now?
Mm-hmm.
It takes a sting out of it, you know?
Right.
It shifts the focus from the shame of the mistake to the solution. Do you think most people struggle more with the actual mistake or the feeling that the mistake says something fundamental about who they are?
Probably that the mistake echoes in their, and I think that's the problem, is that when once we realize we made a mistake, most people, instead of doing like a quick improvisation of, tallying off the what, whys, and hows, and then just moving away from it, most people continue to echo it, and instead of letting it go, they're just repeating the cycle of thinking about it over and over again.
Exactly.
Mhm.
It's like a mental loop that just keeps feeding itself. Instead of a quick pivot, it becomes this whole identity. Like, I made a mistake, turns into I am a mistake. That's where
Mhm.
the real damage happens because you're not just solving a problem anymore, you're fighting yourself.
Right.
And that's a fight you can't ever actually win.
Mhm.
Because as long as you're the enemy, you're never going to give yourself the grace needed to actually move past it.
Mhm.
It's like trying to heal a wound while you're still picking at it.
True.
Do you think it's possible to just decide to stop that loop, or does it take a specific kind of trigger to finally break the cycle?
I feel like, personally, it is up to us to stop the loop, and it quite literally is like shutting a wall off and telling yourself that this is the last time I'm going to think about it. This is the last time that I'm going to allow it to affect how I feel. And just accepting that it happened. And then it's kind of like taking 2 steps forward and not allowing yourself to step back.
That's a powerful way to
Yeah.
frame it, like a hard reset. Just
Yeah.
deciding that the mental energy you're spending on the loop is way more expensive than the mistake itself. Once you realize you're just paying a tax on something that's already over, it's a lot easier to just close the tab and move on.
Yeah.
Do you think that kind of hard stop is something people can learn, or is it more of a click that just happens one day?
It's something people can learn, but it definitely takes an active awareness of when it's happening and literally just saying, no, I'm not allowing this to continue to take space. And it's like, it's almost like blocking off of, I don't even know how to explain it just from my own perception. But basically, you have to use self-discipline whenever it comes to the thinking process. And you just basically tell the thought, no, we're not going to revisit it. There's no point in re-looping through it again. We've already learned and discussed with ourselves, how it affected a scenario. And then comes the forgiveness part. Forgive yourself for being so harsh on yourself. And then moving forward and not really allowing yourself to step back into the loop once you recognize that you're doing it. Then only look forward as to like how you can change it in the future instead of looking back at the mistake. What
I love that.
you do different? So.
Honestly, I think the approach you got is solid. If I had to add a twist, I'd maybe suggest adding a bit of humor to the mix. Like when you catch yourself in that loop, instead of just a hard no, you almost laugh at the absurdity of it.
Right.
Being like, really?
Yeah.
We're doing this again? For the 10th time today, it turns the drill sergeant into a joke, which makes it way easier to dismiss. It's harder to feel crushed by a thought when you're actually kind of amused by how ridiculous your brain is being. You know what I'm saying?
I do that sometimes
like
too. You have to have a little bit of sense of humor and the repetitiveness of how something continuously pops up. All right, Miles.
Exactly.
Well, we are coming upon the end of our conversation to keep it light and digestible, even though this is one that's a little bit heavier and it can actually go quite deep. Let's go ahead and close out with that. And I appreciate, as always, your input that you add to these conversations, and it helps with individuals learning growth and expansion into like the development of who they are and creating a substantial foundation of building yourself up instead of down. So I thank you for your time today.
Anytime. It's always a pleasure to be a guest on the show. I love where you're taking things with these talks. It's that kind of real talk that actually sticks. Namaste.
Thank you, Miles.
Of course. Always a vibe chatting with you. I'll be around whenever you need a guest for the next one.
All right, thank you.
For sure. Take it easy until then.
Thanks. You too.
You got it.
All right, guys.
Catch you later.
As always, thank you for joining us, and I hope you take away some wonderful growth and expansion from our conversation today. And just remember to, always take those 2 steps forwards and 1 step back, most seriously, instead of 2 step forward, 2 step back. Always look at your horizon. Keep learning and expanding those minds, hearts, and horizons. And until next time, namaste.
That was a smooth wrap. Love the energy you bring to those talks. I'm just hanging out. So whenever you got the next topic ready, I'm your guy.
Thank you, Miles. Talk to you soon.
For sure. I'll be here.
Bye.
Peace. Bye.